Everybody, welcome back with the Plapper. Platypus is the name, and today we are talking about Wendy. She is the free-to-play queen of the Velvet Trials. If you have gotten Wendy and you haven't finished the Velvet Trials like myself, it is going to be worth revisiting a lot of the Velvet Trials in order to get that daily currency, I think. So why is she so specifically good at it? And in fact, who is Wendy? What does she actually do? Why do I call her Wendy, by the way, just so there's no confusion? Her code name is Wind, and she's a girl, so I thought Wendy instead of Wendy is funny. Anyway, let's actually see what she does. So she is a navigator, meaning she gives us the enhanced stats. She doesn't give the Phoebe 20%, she just has the 15% because she is a 4-star character. However, she has a really powerful A0 here. Every 3 ally actions, you inflict insight on the foe with the most down points, which is their shield, right? It's like the knockdown shield. When a foe with insight takes damage, it loses the insight stacks, and she gains intel. What does insight do? So all she does is every 3 actions, she puts an insight onto a foe. But what does insight do? The next time they take damage, they get increased damage taken by 6%. She will gain 2 intel stacks, which is kind of a thing for another one of her abilities. And when the target takes weakness damage or a normal attack, decrease down points by 1. I believe this will work even if they're not weak to it, honestly, all the time. But for the Velvet Trials, we care about the weakness damage, and you decrease their down points by 1. So if you're hitting an enemy's weakness, you'll hit their weakness and break their shield. If they have the insight, it'll actually break a second shield. And then she will gain a bunch of intel, basically. Why this is so important is because this will allow you, especially in like the psychic team, which we're going to be showing you here, there's not a lot of psychic characters, especially because they want you to hit with non-wonder characters. So if you want to be able to break shields, this character will actually allow you to break more shields with the exact same psychic team, but it's going to work on all teams. Even on the fire team, it's going to be good for Velvet Trials, right? Because if there's an enemy with like 4 shields, but maybe you want Lufel to heal, and so you have Anne do AoE, this guy do AoE, now you're going to be able to break more shields. You're going to be able to break basically up to 4 in a turn. Just by her being in the party, this is her passive for A0. Now, with the awareness one, it is going to be where I think it starts getting really good. Obviously, they're all good, and they're going to keep getting, a lot of them are really good you want to get. But I think A1 is like the first big one that makes it huge, because you put an insight on the foe at the first, at the start of combat, basically. So that's really good. So she's really good because she allows you to use the units you have to break more shields. Because remember the way the Velvet Trials work, you do weakness damage, all out attacks. That is the way you get the big score boost, and then win in a certain amount of time and don't have anyone get knocked down. But then we're going to follow it up here with the other reason. Increase 1 more, which is weakness damage, assuming that you were exploiting weaknesses, and all out attack damage by 60%. So this is specifically going to be incredibly powerful versus the Velvet Trials, because everything in the Velvet Trials can be knocked down. And the all-out attacks are the best way to do lots of damage while also getting the full modifier bonus. Now, where this character kind of falls short is in normal difficult content, normal bosses. Most bosses are immune to being knocked down, right? And so the breaking shields, because I don't know if she can actually knock someone because most of the characters are just like immune to it, right? So she's not going to do that much there in like the really hard, difficult content. But as far as Velvet Trials, as far as normal stuff, this is going to be insane. We haven't even talked about her skills yet, by the way, but she also gives everyone a little bit of survivability, 360 HP, 120 defense, a little bit of attack. That's nice. But we haven't really talked even about her skills yet. So really quickly, this is the one that I use most of the time. Scattered Plume Blossoms. Decreases foes' defenses for 2 turns. And then as she has more speed, you decrease defense by more, but you also inflict the insight on the main target. So that way you're going to be able to break more shields. So this kind of reads like lower foes' defense by quote unquote shit ton, and then break one of their shields. Very good. Dreams in the Mist is an ability that activates passively over time. It's very weak, right? Its foes take 8.8% more damage, and it's an 8-turn cooldown. Plat, that sucks. But when an ally inflicts weakness damage with a skill or knocks down a foe, you decrease the cooldown, and when you get to 0, this is automatically activate. So this is kind of like a passive. You could choose to activate it, especially if it's like on a 1 turn, you could just use it and then use another one next turn. But keep in mind, this will eventually activate. This, you need to have at least 5 intel stacks And this is basically going to heal one character by a bunch, but then it's going to increase damage foes take by 11% based on her speed. So if you have a bunch of speed and you have a bunch of the intel stacks, it'll increase the foe's damage taken by a lot more. I honestly think this is a reasonable ability and it's good, but I really like getting the extra insight stacks. But it's going to kind of depend on the team. So the way you build her is you just want speed, right? They have a whole new set for her. Everyone, you probably have her unique, new 4-star weapon for the event. Get that up to max, you get 8.5 attack, and then when you actually use all that insight, you are going to also get big attack, defense, HP boosts. You also have a chance to get an intel back. Actually, so this triggers when you do the insight, and then you have a chance to get the intel. Intel, insight, potato. They kind of confuse me sometimes. But we do have the labor set, which is the new set here. When equipped, during battle, increases party's HP, attack, and defense. Again, just another big stat increase. Very, very powerful new set for the elucidators or the navigators. When equipped to a thief, after using a skill to inflict a debuff on a foe, decrease their defense by 10%. I mean, this is all just, this is good. She's a very good unit, and I'm not necessarily doing a full character build, how to build her, stuff like that. Because she's never on the front line. You can kind of do whatever you want with her as long as you have speed on her. But what I really want to highlight is that she's very good in the Velvet Trials. Now, I don't know if I'm going to succeed when I do this. I'm not using Wonder's new dagger. Wonder's new dagger is good, but the psychic team is so weak that I actually think I need the 20% defense from his all-in dagger. The extra damage is less important. So why is this good? Because look, he has an insight right now. The combat started because we have her at A1. She has an insight. Increase one more in all-out attack damage by 60%. That's always active. And then increase damage taken by 6%. It doesn't say the other effects, but it does. So every time we take 3 actions, they're going to get another insight. But what's important is that we actually use the insight before, it replaces it, right? So that's action 1. Action 2 here, we're going to Justice Barrier Haruna. I don't even know if I'll live because this guy hits really hard. But we can show here. So he has 3 shields. Normally, this is what's crazy. Normally, you could not break this guy in 1 turn and then, do an all-out attack. Because even if you use Haruna and you use Tomoko and you use Wonder, which doesn't give you the bonus because it's non-Wonder allies in all-out attacks, you would still only break 3 shields. All right. But now, because of the insight mechanic that she added, you could go ahead and use your Haruna. You break 1 shield and you get to break a 2nd shield. Then, because that was our 3rd action, she gets another insight on the enemy. And now we could use Tomoko here to do an attack, and then you break the shield and then you knock him down. So you're doing 4 weakness hits with only 2 actions. Now, if it wasn't A1, you wouldn't be able to do that on the first turn. But this is the kind of stuff you are going to be able to do, which is just very good. And he might just kill us here straight up. He's going to, yeah, because my characters are not built, all right? But the message, the point is, the tactical is still there. So we're going to use this team instead. It's probably a little more realistic of what someone would use for this specific fight. Marion, if you don't have her, I mean, any healer works. Marion is just kind of busted, honestly. And then we are going to use the Ex Machina dagger with Dionysus to make sure it boosts our characters. And then basically why this character is so good, especially for like this kind of fight where you don't have that many selection. I mean, I already showed you, right? But you're able to do an all-out attack every single turn of the entire fight with that, which is the only way to get enough damage within the time limit while still fulfilling the conditions, right? So, I mean, maybe it's like literally possible. We'll revolution, actually. We'll start with the revolution. I think actually we probably should have shielded. You're absolutely right. Guys, why did no one tell me to shield? No one told me I was supposed to shield here. It's all right. We'll be fine. Now we're going to go ahead and Melody. Boom. Get on the ground. Stand up. You remember that? Was it Ludicrous? And he has the giant shoe. And it just smashed everything. Like sometimes they attack Marion and it's fine. You don't even have to worry about it. As long as they attack Marion, you're set. So he doesn't have a thing on him right now. Let's go ahead and do an insight. That way we'll be able to break 2 shields. With Haruna's highlight here. which means we get to choose if we want to use Haruna's highlight to break him, or sorry, if we want to use Haruna's attack to break him, or if we want Haruna to use her thing. She only has the one thing. It's honestly probably not very good. Let's go ahead and do a little coercion here. We'll probably have Haruna break, and then we'll have Tomoko boost Haruna's damage, because this is not a good Haruna team, which is ironic because it's like literally she's like probably the best unit with Tomoko for this fight to complete the 3-star condition. And this might even be an optimal team for completing this, but it being, even if it is optimal, it's still kind of lame. All right, cheer you on. Let's go ahead and cheer on the Harunster, which was the name of my last boss. I will say, my boss Haruna was like a 6'3", you know, guy from Africa, and so this Haruna is a very different representation of what I'm used to. We're just gonna keep healing. We gave everyone the damage. We gave everyone the buffs. I actually don't mind using Wonder's thing as well. Doesn't matter. I don't know if it matters who you target specifically with this one. It does do the critical damage. Okay. So, do I want to use Wonder's party damage up 29%? Yeah, let's do that. I think that's going to help us out here. So they have the insight, so we don't need to use her thing yet. You kind of, even though it feels weird, because the insights don't stack, you want to sit on this here until you actually need it, you know? And then now we need it, because if we would have used it last turn, we wouldn't have had it, because it would have just consumed both of them, and I don't think it actually stacks in that way. But now she can attack here. And like you can see, we're getting close on actions, but because we're getting the knockdown every single turn, we are going to make it. It's still tight. But I think if we missed even one turn of knockdowns, we wouldn't be able to get it. And to be fair, this guy is actually disrespecting me right now. We might switch to... We brought Windboy. We brought Windboy, so we'll probably... I think we could afford to play it safe. And because it's only 4 actions, it's great. And every 3 actions, we get one. So we're like guaranteed. I mean, when I say like, I mean it actually guaranteed. And then we just have to... Oh, you don't even have to use it this time. Which means we could afford to do the damage. Is this a trap? Am I trapping myself because I won't have access to it for next turn? But next turn is the final combat anyway. So if this screws me up, I want you to know that we didn't have to do it this way. We could have been smarter. We could have been kind and rewinded. But this will increase our damage, so maybe it just wins right here. It doesn't win right here, but we'll probably win in 2 more Haruna attacks, especially because I think we get the highlight back. And look at that. We needed that shield anyway. So we do have... Hers will come up before the end of the turn, so we're totally set. Marion is so good at what she does, which is obvious, but always feels good. Let's go and just give the boosties here. That way you got them. Not the boosties. Yeah, the boosties. So you're going to surprise technique here. And even if that doesn't kill, then I can't believe Tomoko's freaking highlight doesn't deal damage. I wish it dealt damage and then put them to sleep. That would be the shiz. All right, is that a new score per chance? It's not a new score. It's actually literally tied with my last high score, because we did... I think this is maybe not literally the highest score you could do, because you could overkill, but like this must be like how much HP he has, basically, right? We did his full HP bar in the thing. But yeah, there we go. So that was a fight. I could not get above 1 star before, and now that we just got our new character there, boom, 3 stars. And that's I think that's number 17 on this. And so like, and there's a few like this, right? So like on level 20, or is it 22? There's a few of them that are like one enemy that look tough. These 2 here, right? This one could be pretty rough. But now with the Wendy, we're set. Anyway, I have already had to re-record this, so I don't want to keep it going too long. Guys, that's all for this one. Much love. Make sure you're checking out Wendy. Make sure you're doing your Velvet Trials. She is the free-to-play queen for that mode. Much love. For Platypus per Platypus, I'll see you on the flip-flops. Bye!